Pterodactyl here. Today's video is going to be on this here Lincoln electric arc welder with this brakes and scrap 'em flathead motor on there. So now it's story time. Gather around, children. I mean grass rats and children, little grass rats. Gather around. So this thing came in. I got it's from a friend of mine, Mark, and there was gas in the fuel, or I mean gas in the oil, gas in the fuel, gas in the oil. So it had a leaky carburetor. It probably leaked in there through the fuel pump because this has got a fuel pump underneath here. There's a fuel pump under there. So the fuel pumps fail, and they got a fuel pump kit. But anyway, we got that all straightened out, and we ran it. And another thing he complained about, he goes, when it's running, it seems like it's got no power when I'm trying to weld with it. Doesn't seem like it's got any power. So I ran it, and sure enough, it's got a problem. So I started to take it apart, and I found the problem, and I thought, oh, this would be good to do a video on. So I put it back together so I could show you. I'm going to show you how good these old brakes and scrap and flathead engines are. How these things will run and run and run even when they have problems. So I'm going to start it so you can hear it. And I welded with it. I laid down a couple of beads. So you hear that when it was just about done? And I'm like, this thing's got a valve problem. A lot of valve issues this year already. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the head and show you what's going on with this thing, and you're gonna be shocked and amazed that this thing even ran. So I'm going to pull the head now. Okay? So hold on. I'm going to be pulling the head. You can, should I yell cut? What should, because I'm going to pull the head and then we're going to start filming again. Okay, got the head off. So we're going to bring it to top dead center. Oh, I went too far. Both valves closed, and check this out. Look at that. I'm spinning that. I'm barely putting any pressure on it to spin it. It's not like I'm pushing down real hard. That thing is not sealing at all, and it ran. And it didn't run bad. That's what I said. The newer brakes and scrap 'em engines are garbage. These old ones, they're the best. Alright, so now I got to pull the carburetor and pull the valve cover, and let me finish taking this off. Now this is that fuel pump I was telling you about. Now the original one was a square one that bolted on here. So when you look this up and you go to buy a replacement fuel pump for it, this is what they give you. They give you this pump, and they give you a kit that's got fuel line in it, and it comes in a kit. And then they tell you to just, in the instructions, they tell you to just, don't mount it, just tuck it up underneath there. But that's how you fix it now. So those fuel pumps would fail, and because you got a vacuum line that comes off the crankcase, that's what makes it pump. So that pump would fail internally, and then the gas from being gravity to get up there would just fill up the crankcase. But we rebuilt the carburetor and put a new fuel pump on it. So this is his issue with the having no power when he's trying to weld with it. Even though I welded with it, but it was struggling, you could tell. And I'm only at 90 amps. I was using a 3/32 rod. So I set it at 90, but when I would strike an arc, you could hear it really putting a load on it. It'd really pull it down. So if you're welding with bigger rods, which I'm sure Mark is doing, it probably was really pulling it down, because you're adding a lot more amperage to it. So here's your problem, Mark, if you're watching. So let me get this all pulled apart so we can get at the valve. Should I say cut? Should I yell cut? Yeah? Alright, cut. So I got a 4/1000 feeler gauge. And this is the intake, which we've got clearance, because we know that one's not spinning. And in this one, I can't get 4 in there. But I already know that. I already know that there's going to be no clearance because I could spin it. So now I'm going to pull the valves. Cut. So here's the exhaust. This is the one I was able to spin. And here's the intake. So now I'll take them on the wire wheel and clean them up so we can even get a better look at them. So here's the valve cleaned up. It looks like it's got some wear. Now generally, like I've said in other videos, here's the intake. Whenever you have a valve issue like that, usually it wants to spit gas out. You'll see a lot of gas coming out. But the reason we didn't see that is because you usually see that when you got a bad intake valve that's not sealing. Because that's, when it doesn't seal, then it's compression when it's coming around is leaking past it and it's pushing the gas out of the carburetor. So that's why we didn't see any fuel being shot out of the carburetor. But I could hear it leaking. I could hear that because this wasn't sealing. And another thing on this engine, we have 2 different angles. This is at 45 and this is at 30. They're different angles. So I'll put these in my valve grinding machine, put new faces on them, and then we'll have to grind off the stem to get our clearances. On these brakes and scrap them, these old flatheads, 6 on the intake and 10 on the exhaust. Clean that one up like new. Now I've got to move this for the other one. There's my 30 degrees right there, right on that line. Uh-oh. Money's calling. Too bad money's too late, because we're closed. They gave up. Like new money. Isn't that pretty? I just think it looks so awesome when I get done doing that. Now I got to put this back to 45 because most valves are at 45. And if I forget, I'll throw a valve in there and ruin it, and then I'll go, what the heck is going, oh, dummy, you forgot to put it back to 45, you knucklehead, you. I usually go in the bathroom and yell and scream at myself in the mirror, you know, because I'm the boss. So when I make a mistake, who's going to yell at me but me? So I got to stand in the mirror and yell and scream at myself. Then I usually end up curled up in the fetal position and crying. And then I come out of it and then I go back to work. So now we need to set our valve clearance. So you got to have the piston top dead center, both valves closed. And again, 6 and 10. So I want to use a 4 thousandths to start with. So that way if I grind too much off the end of the stem, I should end up at, you know, the 6 that I'm trying to achieve. So I always go smaller. So right now, 4 thousandths fits, even though I had ground some off the face. So usually, when you grind material off the face of the valve, you know, it's going to let it sit down further, so you think you would lose clearance. So this thing must have had a lot of clearance in it. I never checked. I just shoved that 4 in there just to show you I could get a feeler gauge in there. So now I want to go to 6 thousandths. Get it, boy, get it! Sounds like he's got some little car he's getting it in. So 6 is tight. Because I got it in there and I'm pushing on the valve, and when I get it out, it makes a little click. So I need to just grind a little bit off the end. Now you're not going to have that fancy valve grinding machine like I have. So you would just take this on your bench grinder. Let me show you. And you would just spin it and grind a little bit off the end. You want to spin it so hopefully, you know, you're going to make it even. But my machine, it'll take off the end of it. But that's what you do at home. If you don't, say you bought a brand new valve and you need to set the clearance, that's how you would do it. Just spin it, take a little bit off. You got to keep checking it until you get it. That's why you should start with 4 in case you grind off too much. Understand what I'm saying, grass rats? So mine does it right here. And I turn this knob and it turns it in a little bit. Then I'll go and I'll check it. And if it's good, I'll stop. Then I can lap it in. But if it's not, then I got to take a little more off. See, that's good. See, that's the 6 thousandths. It's sliding in there just right. Now, if you go over a little bit, it's not the end of the world. You just don't want too big of a gap in there. If it's 7 or 8 thousandths, it'll be fine. If you go too big, the only thing you're going to get is you're going to get some ticking. You're going to get like a tappet noise because you got excessive clearance. So you might hear a little tick, 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 tick. And it may not run too good either. But I always get it close. So now we got to do 10 thousandths. So I will start with an 8. So again, if I grind off too much, if the 8's slipping in there, then I might try, you know, get it with the 10. Yeah, that one's definitely, you can hear it as I push on the top of the valve. Plus, look, I'm spinning it. No problem. So we got to take some off of this. Quite a bit, I'm sure. Clamp it in. Oh, I need to come out. I need to come way out. There we go. Shove it till it just touches. Turn the knob. Let's try that. No, still got a long way to go. See, look, not even close. But that's what you got to do. You just keep doing that till you get to your 10,000ths or whatever clearance you're trying to get. All right, took me a few tries, but I got it. There's 10,000ths. It's got a little bit of drag on it, but it's not too sloppy. Got my 10,000ths. Now, if I was to go over, say, and I didn't like that clearance, well, then I would just grind more off the face, and that would eat up the clearance. I'd just stick it back in the machine and grind more off the face, and that would drop it down. But you got to be careful. You can't take too much off of the face and make it too thin here, then the valve's no good, depending on how bad it is. Sometimes if they're burned real bad and you try to clean them up, and this lip is thin, you're just better off just replacing it. So now I got to lap them in. All right, I got the valve grinding compound, which you can get at local auto parts store. This is the Permatech stuff. And I put a little bit right on there, right on the edge. And then I like to, by doing this, this kind of moves it around, you know, evenly distributes it around the face. And I like to pick it up and drop it and turn it. It seems to distribute the compound around, because you'll hear it. It'll like grind real good at first, and then it'll like smooth out. And then when you do this, it seems to get some more of that fresh compound on there. Now we want to look at the face and make sure we've got a good even line all the way around. We've got a nice line going all the way around. Now if it was splotchy, you know, say there was like a dotted line almost, well, that's no good. And make sure you clean the compound off real good. Take some brake cleaner or carb spray, get it all off, because if you leave any of that compound on there, it's just going to lap the valve to death. I remember one time I worked with a guy at my brother's shop, another mechanic, and he left that compound on there, and the job came back. Had no compression. It's like, well, just did a valve job to it. Because I'm going to talk, that's how my brother talks, Farrell. Just did a valve job to it. And when we took it back apart, the valve was all lapped, had a big, massive groove in it. And it lost the clearance, because it just wore it down and it wouldn't start. So make sure you clean it off real good. You know, it's going to leave the line in there. You just want to get the excess compound off. So I'll go ahead and do this to the intake. Then I'll go ahead and put the springs, you know, get my spring compressor and put the springs back on, put the head back on, new head gasket, new valve cover gasket. Then we'll listen, hear how it sounds then. We'll do a little welding with it. You drop that in there. Yeah, see, now it's nice and sealed. See, I can still spin this even though I'm pushing down on it. But once it's lapped in, you're not going to turn that when you push on it. Like this one. See how I can turn it? Once I lap it in, I won't be able to do that. Okay, we got a good line going around this one too. I cleaned all the compound off. See, now I can't turn it like I was doing earlier. We got a good seal on there. So now we can put the springs in. Now, another thing I should have pointed out. When you take the springs off, make sure the exhaust spring goes back on the exhaust side, the intake goes back on the intake. Because some of these Briggs engines, they use a lighter spring on the intake and a heavier one on the exhaust. Some of them, not all of them. But it's good to separate them on these flatheads. One way to tell back in the day is one would be a little bit taller than the other one because it was a little heavier. But when I take them off, I put the intake to my right and the exhaust to my left. So that way I put them back in the same as they came out. Inspect your keeper. Make sure there's no excessive wear on the keeper or the keeper's cracked or might have a fracture in it. You kind of want to inspect it. And then here's the valve spring tool. This is an OEM Breaks and Scrap 'em one. They make aftermarket ones. You can probably find it on Fleabay or Scamazon. But there's the part number in case you want to get one of these. So you can see it's got like a keyhole on there and it's got the little notch back here. The little notch to let you know that that's the back of it. And then these little forks on here are adjustable. So I have to spread them out because this is a bigger spring. So close it up. Wear safety glasses in case that thing comes shooting out of there. It can hit you in the face. Alright, so that's how I got it. So when I stick it in, stick the valve in, I'm going to push on it to lock it in. So that's why I have it in this position with this towards the back. And then put some oil on the valve stem because when you start this thing, you're going to be starting to dry. So I'm going to use our gel lube, which is a good engine assembly lube because this stuff is sticky. We sell this in our online store. So spray a little bit on there. Now sometimes this stuff will come out watery, but it gets sticky after it sits for a minute because it sticks to the parts. Oh, I'll flip that over. Let me get it from here. And now I'm pushing in on it. Now I'll release this. And pull it out. And there's our little notch right there towards the back. Now I'll do the same with the intake spring. Got my little notch towards the back, towards me. Close it up. And then push forward on it until I feel it lock in. I should have had this little turn thing on the top, but this will work this way. Now, some guys might do it the opposite way and put the notch towards the back so that when you pull on it, it'll lock it in. I've seen guys do that where they pull on it and it pulls it forward. They don't even release this. They just pull it right off the spring and it boing. You could do it either way. I'm just showing you the way that I do it. All right, valves are installed. There's no upper keeper on these brakes and scrap-ems. Takumish would have a keeper on the top too to kind of hold the valve spring center on the valve, but brakes and scrap-em don't use them. So now we got no more spinning valves, and we got the right amount of clearance. Or do you say clearance? So let me go ahead and button this all up, put the head back on, torque it down. Just, if you don't have a torque pattern, just go in a crisscross and just gradually tighten them until they're all tight. Because a lot of people don't have torque wrenches and all this if they're working out of their house, you know. They just got basic hand tools. So just gradually go in a crisscross pattern until you get it all snugged down. These head bolts are probably 200 inch-pounds. That's what most of them are. 200 inch-pounds. All right, let me go find a head gasket. And I'll have to clean up this head. It's got some carbon on there. Clean up the head and go find a gasket. Should I say cut? Do I yell cut? Should I yell? Yell cut. All right, cut. So here's another important tip when you're doing a valve job on one of these. The valve cover. It's got two little weep holes down here on the bottom. And they go to the bottom. Because if this gets oil in it, because it'll fill up with oil, the oil's got to leak out. And it leaks out of these holes. Because this thing will go on either way. You can put it on this way, or you can put it on this way. And if you don't know what you're doing, and you put it on wrong, this thing is going to fill up with oil. And you're going to have problems. See, even the gasket has got little notches cut in it at the bottom for the weep holes. So it can drain back into the crankcase. So you got to be aware of that. Because I know, unless you're told or you don't know these things, that's when stuff happens. And then you're calling me on the phone, or you're sending me 1,000 emails. Help me, help me, help me, help me. Trust me, I'd like to help all of you. But without having your piece of equipment here in front of me, I have no idea what you've done. Because you've probably heard the stories before where we've had people bring us stuff and it was all simple things that they had done wrong. I don't know. If I told that story, I've had people travel 6-7 hours one way to bring me something because they could not find anybody in their area that was competent enough or smart enough to know what the heck was going on. And they bring it to me and I'm like, yeah, you did this wrong or you did that wrong. But I can't help you over the phone and I can't help you through an email. Even though I'd like to, I always never able to help anybody. Because I don't know what you did. All right, let me get the gasket. Should I yell cut again? Cut? Do I yell cut? Cut? Do we say cut? All right. How about this? And scene. Well, I got it all back together. So now, as Elkskin says, we need to fire it up, fire it up, fire it up. Shut up! Jeez! And see how well it welds now. Other than that exhaust blowing on my back while I was trying to weld. Sounds a lot stronger and healthier than before. But again, it needed a valve job. You saw it. The proof is on video. You saw the valve. It was hung up. That's what it needed. And we fixed it. We took it apart. We fixed it and we got it done. That's all there is to it. So, if you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel and you like it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, hit all the buttons. Just go crazy. Check out our web store. We got all kinds of stuff like the gel lube we showed you. Got this shirt. Of course, it won't be this one. It'll be cleaner. Got all kinds of stuff there. Check it out. There's something there for you. I know there is. Go and check it out. Plus, we get new stuff all the time that we put on there. So stay up to date. Follow me with your Lincoln or Miller Arc Welders. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And as always, there's your dinner. Woo! Fixing the Lincoln Electric Power Arc 4000 for Mark. If you're watching, Mark, come and get it now. Come and get it. Come on, come and get it. Jump through the screen. I want this thing out of here. It's been here all winter. Come and get it. Do I say cut?